Welcome to the Freedive Café, episode 5 with Stéphane Tourreau. My name is Donnie. This is the Freedive Café, the podcast that goes really deep with some of the deepest humans on Earth. The Freedive Café is long-form interviews that get into the backstories, the training, the challenges, the passions and fears and personal philosophies of those who choose to adventure on one breath. So this episode is dedicated to the memory of Stephen Keenan. Stephen was a bit of a legend in the freediving community and a ubiquitous presence as a safety diver. Stephen passed away a few weeks ago. He was providing safety during an unconventional dive at Dahab's Blue Hole in Egypt. I didn't know him personally, but his loss resonated through the freediving community. It's obvious that many people were touched by him and devastated by his death. My thoughts go out to all those who are missing him today. The home of the Freedive Café is freedivecafé.com. All the episodes and show notes can be found there. Listen to the podcast directly through the website or on iTunes or through the Stitcher app, and it can be found in a few other places as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode, and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/freedivecafépodcast. If you want to get in touch with comments or suggestions, you can do that through the contact page on the website or the Facebook page. You can find me personally on Facebook as Donny Mac, DonnyMac. So here's a message I received recently from Maya. Thank you so much for this podcast. It's great. The interviews are long enough, interesting and well made. I'm only missing a female element in your podcasts. Maybe the next episode with the female pro freediver. Yes, Maya, you're not wrong. I've had this comment so many times. I'm well aware that it's time to get a girl on. I do have many great female athletes lined up to do the show in the coming months, but it's just that everyone's schedule is different and we have to wait a bit for people to be available. If everything goes according to plan, the first female athlete will appear at the end of this month on episode 7. She's a huge name in freediving, but I'll keep you guessing for the time being who it is. So I just came back from completing my IDA 4 in the Philippines. Special thanks to Jean-Paul Francois and his team at Freediving Planet Moalboal for making that happen. And especially thanks to Adam Guillemard, who coached me there and provided advice and safety. And it really took me to the next level in my freediving journey. Thanks, Adam. Do you like the show enough to buy me a coffee? Don't let distance get in the way of that. On the website, you can click the support the podcast button or go directly to patreon.com/freedivecafé. There you can help support the podcast. You can donate $1 or $2 a month and help me buy my morning coffee. I heard one podcaster talk about how it takes him 3 or 4 hours to do post-production on an episode. I'd love to know what he's doing because I reckon it takes me closer to 10 hours to produce these episodes at least. It's a lot of work, and if you showed your appreciation by pledging a few dollars, I'd be even more motivated than I am now. Regardless of whether or not you choose to do so, let me say thank you so much to everyone who is listening. I love you all, this amazing freediving family, all the support you're giving me, and I'm going to be producing the show for a long time to come. On today's episode, we have Stéphane Tourreau. Stéphane has been diving since he was a young child. He has 20 years of experience behind him, gradually rising to the top of his game. He's a member of the French national team and has been since the age of 24 when he took part in his first World Championships in Kalamata in Greece. He dives deep, of course, about 107 meters this year at Vertical Blue. But what really impressed me about Stéphane is his dedication to his own personal development through his sport. As you listen to the interview, you will see that his athletic aspirations, his psychological and emotional states, and his spiritual journey are all inextricably linked. Despite our linguistic barriers, Stéphane makes a strong and eloquent argument for the primary importance of mental discipline in freediving. Okay, let's dive. So you're originally from a town on the shores of Lake Geneva.
Yeah, but I'm training not in Geneva Lake, just in the Annecy Lake,
Right,
on the suits of Geneva.
Yeah, that's where you live now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your early life when you were a child there? And also, how did you discover freediving?
I discovered freediving just on the sea in Corsica, in France, with my family. And normally it's just a holiday because I can't imagine to dive in the lake. And at this period, because I dive at 10 years old, and it's very young, and we don't have a structure for training for everything before. It's 20 years ago. It's long.
Yeah.
And after that, I live on the front of the mountain and everything, and the lake. And I begin the lake maybe at 17 or 16 years old.
You mean that you started to dive in the lake when you were 16 or 17?
Yeah, because I'm afraid by the lake when I'm young.
For sure. Did you have a freediving course with an instructor, or were you always just teaching yourself?
I teach myself, because we don't have a instructor at this period. And I do everything, and bad things. I do everything, and this is not good and good, because also I understand the freediving differently of now. Now I know what is the squeeze and what is good for myself also. After I have some experience to teach other people, but I begin to teach other people because I don't have an instructor to help me. So
what did you find most difficult about freediving in the beginning?
For me, it's no age, because we don't know at this time, and just my evolution at this period is just empiric and just feelings. And what I can do is also is a mind, and I don't have a protocol for the training, and that is very difficult, because 20 years ago is more difficult to train, and now it's different.
Yeah, now we have so much more information, and freediving is growing so fast, especially with the internet. It's possible to read a lot and find instructors.
Yeah, of course. And you have a protocol and everything. But it's very good experience for me, I understand the freediving, because I experiment everything, and I can say and try different exercise now in my experience with teaching also.
Yeah. So you made many mistakes, but you learned from your mistakes, right?
Yeah, of course. That is my philosophy.
So when you started diving in the lake, were you already diving very deep? Did you use like a buoy and a guideline and things like this? Or were you just diving down into the water?
I begin by down just in the water without line. And just a feeling, I want to see the fish at 6 meters, not 10, because I don't have a 10, and I'm afraid to go deep in lake at this period. But after, I want to practice more, and I know some diver, my brother also. He are a diver, and he helped me, and also diving school helped me to practice my first dive in the lake. And after that, I go to Nice to see Guillaume Nery and Loic to practice with there in Nice. And for me, after this training on the sea is totally new at this period, and as at maybe 2006. Yeah.
Right. So when you went to Nice to dive with these people, that was your first experience of the competition style free diving, where you would dive on the guideline. And was this also when you first discovered about the different freediving disciplines, like constant weight or free immersion, etc.?
The first time I discovered that just on the training, and the competition. I began the competition in the pool in 2007 in Geneva in the same year, and after the first depth competition in 2009, because at this period we don't have a competition in France, and I don't have money to travel to do everything, and but for me it's very difficult to begin the competition because I'm very stressed, and I practice with maybe two problem to control my mind, because I not practice the competition just for me at this moment, and after that I discovered the competition is just a meeting with a different freediver, and to share the passions, and that is very more important. And performance is totally individual.
So were you quite young when you started the competition diving in the pool? Like, how old were you when you did that competition?
19 years.
All right, so that's very young.
19 years, yeah.
So
I think, yeah.
Do you think you had quite a lot of stress because you felt that you had to do well as part of a team?
I think I'm stressed because I just it's totally new for me, and I don't have a confidence of me, and doubt. I discovered that later, but at this period I'm very stressed for everything, not for freediving also only. I'm stressed for course, for everything, for exam, for yeah. And I understand later the freediving is a good school for me to learn the mind, and to learn the relaxation and the control of the present moment.
Where do you train now?
Now I'm training in Nice, totally now, because I prepare just the World Championship in Honduras. And normally I practice many dive in the lake, in Annecy Lake, because in lake we have a very fantastic place. It's 85 meters on the front of the beach. It's a wall. It's a green wall at maybe 100 meters from the beach, and that is very easy to dive and to practice because we don't have a boat and everything. And it's cold also, yes. Yeah. But it's a very good school, and after few training is easy because we have acclimatation. And I finalized my training in deeper dive in Nice because the condition is good for go deeper.
Okay, yeah, so you can train most of the time in the Annecy Lake, and then go to the ocean for the final preparation in Nice.
Yeah, it's totally, for me, it's totally complementarity.
Yeah.
And also I have a mountain, and the situation in Annecy is very fantastic. I love my city and my place.
Okay, so do you also like to climb the mountains?
Yes, sometimes with in Nordic skiing or
right, nice.
Just for fun, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do you find that when you train in the lake, training in the lake compared to training in the ocean, because the lake is fresh water and the ocean is salt water, do you think there's a big difference when you train?
Yes, of course, we have different. This is a big difference with your wetsuit, because the free fall is very fast in the lake, and the density in the sea is huge, and the 5 millimeters in lake, it's 3 millimeters in the sea for have the same floatability.
Oh, okay.
And without that, it's just cold. But now I'm training 5 millimeter in lake, but it's easy because we have a good protection. And after, if I use it a little wetsuit in the sea, it is difficult to me because it's colder. The fresh water go fast for skin, and I need to maybe train the same wetsuit for the sea and the lake.
Right.
But it's not totally easy every day.
Yeah. So, are you going to Honduras then this month?
Yeah, I go to the Honduras. Yeah.
Tell me about your training in preparation for the World Championships. How often do you train, and who do you train with?
Normally 1 month ago, I practice many physical training, physical preparation, muscle and strength training, bike and apnea with apnea, and swimming with fins on the pool. And also static training for me in the Excel dive, Excel apnea to repeat hypoxia because I have good adaptations. My lung and flexibility is okay, but I need to train my capacity to without oxygen.
Right.
And I practice that on my training, and I understand this year to maintaining that more with the training depth, because when I do depth 1 month only, I lose some some hypoxia adaptability. And I think it's very important to maintaining my training, pendant my dive. And maybe 2 weeks ago, I stopped the physical preparation 2 weeks ago, and I dive only before the performance.
So now you just focus exclusively on the diving, and you won't do any more strength training or hypoxic training or anything like that.
I'm maintaining this week and as a week, and after 2 weeks I finish. Maybe the 5 August or 10 August I finish. I just dive.
Okay. So who do you dive with? Do you dive with your friends, or do you have specific coaches or trainers?
Yes, I have a trainer. He's not here every time, but in my city in Annecy here, and I'm very happy to find a good guy to learn the freediving, because after 20 years practice the freediving, I need a coach adaptability. With different adaptability, because he don't know the freediving before, and I give many information to the freediving book and everything and training, and he come to me with a workshop and the training, different training, and he analyze that, and after we do a checker with this connaissance, with this knowledge, and after we mix that and we have a solution, and that is good because we create and we compose the training and the preparation with him. Is Fabien Dupuis. Normally he coach different sports.
So what is your favorite freediving discipline? What do you like to do most?
My favorite discipline is the constant weight and the variable weight. Is 2 disciplines with the monofins, and I like the depth, and I like the feeling and the sled, and when I slide on the water, and this 2 discipline is very good because I go deeper in variable weight also, and I use the monofin when I come back. Yeah, I like this complementarity.
I see that you really like the monofin. I've seen quite a few videos of you, and you always seem to be swimming around with just the monofin.
Yeah, and the feeling with the water and fasting, I like it, because all the time I practiced different sports when I'm young, athletic sports and fasting sports, And me, I love the sled when I slide on the water. It's just maybe the feelings and also my capacity with the leg, because I train. I have a good adaptation on the leg. My hypoxia is not the best capacity, and I prefer to use the monofins for that.
Yeah, you're trying to make it as efficient as possible.
Yeah. And after when I try the free immersions or no fins, for me it's too long.
So how long is
too long?
How long is your static apnea time now?
It's difficult to say the full length, because I try because I progressed this last 2 years. My maximum is normally is 620, but it's maybe 4 years ago or 3 years ago. And now maybe 7 or more, but I not try.
Mm-hmm.
I know my Excel training in static. Empty lung, I do maybe 3.5 maximum.
Mm-hmm. So how deep are you diving now?
In performance and constant weight with monofins is 107 meters. And in variable weight is 121 in head down, with head down.
Right. So yeah, 107 meters, that's a really, really deep dive. Was that something that took you a long time to do? Did you progress in depth over many, many years, or did you actually make some big jumps?
I progress now because I have more time to train now, because I'm professional from this year, with more sponsors to have a time to train. And when I train in my hypoxia, I progress. And I go faster, of course, because my physiology is better when I go fast. And I developed my physical for go fast, because when I go slower, my hypoxia is very quick, and my pressure is very easy when I go faster. But just I need to control my mind. I can't dive fast every day because it's too hard for my leg and me. But generally, I go fast when I finalize my preparation in the competition for the last dive.
You said that you do some other kinds of training in preparation for the competition. Like you do some strength training and you do some hypoxic training. Can you talk a little bit more about those and how they help you in your freediving?
Yeah, I practice stretch training with no weight normally, just proprioception. On the proprioception.
So just like your body.
With with a heavy body. Yeah, generally. Sometimes I can use weight, but normally I use my just a weight body. And also I practice many stretching and the meditation and energetic also, because from 2 years ago I participated to the master class in the bioenergy, and I focus and I understand many things to energetic body, and I develop now my capacity to connect at the energetic system, and it's very important to optimize the introspection.
Okay, so that's very interesting. Let me just ask again, you mentioned bioenergy?
Yes, the bioenergy.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
It's a capacity to develop with your hand to check and control the energetic system vibration, because you have a body, physical, and you have a magnetic body. You develop the magnetic energy, and with your hands and with your mind, you can develop this capacity to augmentation the magnetic capacity. And if you develop that, you developed your intuition, your feelings, your I searched the word in English as the telepathy.
Okay,
Telepathy,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's similar to the French. Yeah, I mean, these are quite difficult concepts to describe. But essentially, it's more ways to work with your mind and to improve your emotional situation when you're diving.
Yes, and if you focus, I'm trying this time. I train for this time to constant augmentation. I train for focus of the present moment. If you develop your present moment on the meditation and everything, to develop this capacity in your introspection to do everything. You can check and control your body. You can develop the capacity to know if you go now or later, or what you do want, or what you can do the day of your training. Because sometimes you can say, oh, I don't know if I go deep or deeper, or maybe before, because you want to connect and listen your body. And if you develop this capacity, you can choose and you can understand more for training or for your life, for a job, for your family, for everything.
I saw the mini series that you made on YouTube, the Freediving Universe. And that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. They're very beautiful videos. And you also introduced us to your mental coach, Loic, in that interview.
Yeah.
So is it Loic that is coaching you with this bioenergy and mindfulness and things like this?
Yeah, Loic is my mind coach. He's not a physical coach. He's a mind coach. I know Loic from 6 years ago, and it's a fantastic meeting because he have this capacity to feel and to give you just the tools, not a plan, just a tool to make it your construction. He give you some exercise and some technique to develop your mind, and for different thinking, maybe hypnosis, meditation, focus and concentration, and capacity to concentrate at the present moment, and everything. It is very, for me, 5 years ago is very important because I don't have confidence of me and I may stress, and to understand that is very important now because in 5 years I totally changed my mind.
This kind of training and your coach Loic have really helped you to come to another level in your diving and your life at the same time, right?
Yes, of course. It's not that to progress for freediving. It's developed me generally.
Right.
My soul, my body, and my mind. And when you develop your self, you develop your freediving also. And I think it's not the objective is not a performance only, is you. And after you have a performance, and that is very important to learn on this organization.
Yeah, I think that's also a very good lesson to teach other freedivers. I think especially in the beginning, there's a lot of divers are trying to get as deeply as they can, as quickly as possible. And that's probably not healthy.
It's the same. Yes, it's this philosophy to progress, because the pressure is a pressure. The water is the same on the surface at the bottom. And if you want to go deep, you need to accept. And it's not only accept the pressure, it's accept you. And if you develop this philosophy, also you can progress very more.
So what do you think are the biggest mistakes that you've made in your freediving training?
My big mistake, I think, is the past. It's not good to remind the past, but for now, I have a big squeeze, big edema, because I go with a strong, and I go very fast, and just for the performance, and I want to do a dive, but it's old, maybe he's 8 years old. 8 is
8 years ago?
Yeah, it's 8 years ago I break my lung because I go for a performance. I'm very stressed and strong, and that is really not good because I understand the freediving is not that. It's not going for, because I'm young at this period, I think.
And how deep did you dive that you had the squeeze?
It's 72 meters.
Right.
In the free immersions. But after that, your mind search what you want to do.
Yeah, then you have to reassess what you're doing when something like that happens, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was watching the videos, and Cédric Palerme was in the video.
Yeah.
And Cédric is an international freediving judge, and he made a comment in one of these videos that you did 6 dives, you came back 6 times with 6 white cards, and because you're able to control your dives, and he wishes that all the divers were like this, but I think unfortunately he said, there are many divers who are trying crazy things and coming back completely messed up, right? So do you think there is a culture in freediving of, especially in competition freediving, of pushing way too hard, way past the personal limits? And do you think the competition organizers and the certifying organizations should do something about it?
I think we need to change the protocol and many things to validate the performance, because I think it's very important for your sport to respect you. If you not respect you, you can't respect your sport. And no many freediver understand that. And I think, but he say yes, but the reality is totally not, because he go for a performance, and the performance is the same of drug, and after he want to do more, and he want to competition, and the competition is not good for that, I think. And for me, the competition is just a meeting to progress. And it's strange, but when I think that, my progression is very faster. And because I have more confidence, because when I go back, I'm very easy on the surface, and I have a very positive adaptability to say, yes, I can do more, and I'm very happy to this dive. It's fantastic. And when you really find and practice that, is very important for the next competition. It's not this competition, it's not this performance. It's not your life is not finished after the performance. You have a different period to progress, and some freediver want to go the performance directly now and maximum. And I think it's not good for a sport, because too many blackout and too many people go out on blue and split on the lips. And I think it's not good for the picture of the freediving.
Yeah.
And
sure,
now the CIO want to see the sports 2 years in CIMAS for maybe inclusion on the Olympic game. And if you want that, and if you can, that is because we can do. And now we can't do because some protocol and is too easy. And I think the too many freediver go on the blackout on surface.
So, Stéphane, what changes do you think we could make to improve the situation?
My opinion is maybe we need the judge. We need judge the come up, or to also sensibilize the freediver and for the teaching, because on the IDA or CMAS and every teaching and formation, we don't have this we don't cultivate really this philosophy. It's just a protocol, and you realize the protocol, okay, you validate. But I think the freediving is not that. It's very important to know. It's more important to go up with easy dive for progress for the next dive, to pushing the best dive and maintaining that. And I think we need to change that, and the protocol also, because the protocol is too easy. Too many freediver practice this protocol, and with the Samba or
the removing the face mask and saying I'm okay, and this protocol.
Yeah, but this protocol, I think we can develop a judgment to the capacity on surface. The Samba is you can do a big Samba, maybe approximately blackout, and you can validate with a good protocol. And I think we can change that. At the origin, we judge the Samba. Okay, sometimes the Samba, sometimes it's not a Samba, but we can organize a really judgment for that. Maybe 5 judges or 6 judges can see the video to know, okay, yes or not is a Samba. But I need to develop I think. But that is my philosophy. It's not a philosophy of many freediver. But for me, I think it's very important for population, for developed, because it's if a TV show take with the dive eye system with a camera, and we can see many freediver, I think it's very important to go clean, to come up clean for develop the sport. Because if you have 10 guys on blackout, I think it's not very good possibility to go to the TV show or to Olympics. Yes, because you imagine you go the blackout and your family and everything, you can see that. And I think we need to give a recompense when you go when you do a nice performance.
Yeah, it's a bit like when you see like a boxing match or a fighting match on the television and something very bad happens, like maybe the arm is broken or there's a lot of blood or something like that. And yeah, it's not very fun to watch. Well, I think for most people.
After, some people can say, yes, you have a box and you have the guy can do a blackout in the marathon. But freediving is very huge. I don't know. My memory is some blackout is very bad. It's very bad. It's the stress and everything is not a very good picture for freediving. And maybe it's an educational system also, because too many freedivers don't understand the blackouts is not easy after 2 days, and you can repeat that every time. You can't, because you memorize that, and your body and your cellular memories these informations, and you can't progress and you can't have the same progression of the easy dive every day, because your body learn is not just your mind, and also is your soul and is your energetic system want to protect you, and it can give you this blackout before if you continue to maintaining that every time. And I saw that with different freediver from 10 years. The best progression of the world is all the time is a fresh freediver.
Yeah. You raised some very important and interesting points there, especially with the this last couple of weeks we had a terrible accident in the freediving world with the death of Stephen Keenan. So I think that a lot of people are maybe thinking more deeply about these things right now. What do you what advice could you offer with regards to safety in freediving?
I have two things, because I know Stephen. I know Steve, and this is a friend. And it's very difficult to know what is exercise or what is security at this moment, because it's very special. The passes in the arch I never do, and I can tell and I can say something. But I know that when you are athlete, you respect also the safety. You need to respect your body, because also the safety are here for you. And the many freediver in competition forget that. He dive for performance only, and he forget the safety and organization. And I saw many big squeeze and everything, and for the safety is not cool. It's not easy. Okay, he are here for him for that, but it's not objective. The objective of safety is not only go back with a freediver on the arm, I think. And the finale is the conclusion is, when you practice the depth and the competition in freediving, you need to practice for you, for the safety, for the freediving, for everything, because all is one, and that is more important.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think what you said about improving the situation with the protocol and making sure that divers aren't diving when they've squeezed or after blacking out, that will also help the safeties situation as well, right? They have less to worry about then.
Yeah. Yes. And also, I think it's the educational system also, because we have system to educational, and we need to learn more to physiology, adaptation, training, and the protocol. And I think you can do more. We can give more. We can give also the philosophy to progress, to have a good progression, and to have a good respect, I think.
How deep do you think that we can go? This is a question that I haven't been able to ask yet on the podcast, but what do you think are the limits for freedivers? Do you think there are limits?
I think the limit is the mind.
The limit is the mind. Do you think a 200-meter constant weight is possible? 150 meters, no fins?
I don't know. I know some things. The body adaptation is we have many possibility to adapt to the body, and import the time. It's imports the present moment. It's not for 10 years the 10 years on the future, or it's important to change the principle and to try everything and to know you, because it's by introspection you can understand your training and you can progress. Because if you follow the freediver all the time, or you follow the champions, you can progress after the champions. If you want to develop your sport, you can change your sport and you can develop a new technique for the security, for check and everything. And I give that in my workshop, and I give the different preparation to prepare the lung and to progress faster, but with a security. And that is more important to try the training, because it's a very different. In French, we have le savoir et la connaissance, and we have a knowledge and connaissance. It's totally different. And the connaissance is, okay, I try that and I know and I validate or not, and you can't say. And I think you can. When you teach people, it's very important to not close the mind.
Let's move on to your equipment. What equipment do you like to use? Like what kind of fins do you use? What wetsuits do you like to use?
I use the Monofins, carbon Monofins, because I go fast, but it's different of the different freediver. A slower freediver can use a fiber, but me, I use the carbon Monofins. It's Oleg Monofins. It's a Russian guy. He lives in France, and he developed Monofins. On the wetsuit, I use it Top Star. It's a French company. Is a specialty to produce freediving wetsuits, and it's very good company. What equipment? What else?
Yeah, I noticed that you seem to quite like wearing fluid goggles.
I make it my free goggles.
Oh, you made them yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I break some goggles for swimming, and I put the lens inside.
Okay. Yeah, because I've asked a few other freedivers about it, and many of them just really don't like to wear those goggles.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear why you like to use them, and also how do you make them in such a way that they actually allow you to see well underwater.
Yeah, for me, it's we have different points for free goggles. I put the free goggles because also I have a lens in my eyes for my views.
Oh, like a contact lens.
Yeah, I have a contact lens, and it's as a it's as a protection for that, and also for my captor, because my captor in my eyes is very sensitive, and when I have thermocline on everything, I have a reaction with my glottis and everything. And I prefer this comfort. And also, the more important is for my security. Because sometimes with 10 years practice freediving depth, I have many experience, and I prefer to dive with free goggles because I can see on the bottom everything. If I have a rope, if I have something on the bottom, or with a lanyard, or everything.
Yeah, I guess especially if you're training in a lake or somewhere like Dean's Blue Hole, where it's very dark at depth, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, everywhere, because I prefer to see. If I have something, I can see, and that is for me is most important. If I practice with a nose clip.
Let's talk about your favorite dive sites. So which places that you've been to do you really like to dive?
For me, from my experience now, it's Dean's Blue Hole, of course.
You just really love it there.
It's this place is very good for introspection on your dive, because it's black also. And it's the introspection is stronger. We don't have a thermocline. The water is good, and the site is very incredible because you have it's an energetic place. It's a telluric very strong because I know that with the bioenergy. and the environment is very very strong for mind, for the performance, for everything, I think. But after, I never dive in Honduras and Dominique, but many people say me yes, it's a good place, and I discovered that this year, I think.
Yeah, well, you're going there soon, so you'll find out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and after it's Egypt. But Egypt is a condition is different. Yeah. The best condition, I think, yes, is Bahamas for me for now. Maybe later is new, is changed, but yeah.
Are there any other places that you've heard about that you would like to go to? Have you done any diving in Southeast Asia, like in the Philippines or Indonesia?
I never go in Indonesia. My experience is little. No, because just I practice in Egypt, Nice, in Mexico, in the La Paz, and Vertical Blue, and Kalamata, and Kaş in Turkey. And I think it's all sport is interesting to progress because you have different conditions. Temperature, surface, waves, no waves. And I think it's very important to change and to discover everything. But yes, I want to discover the Philippines. But it's the same problem after. It's we need to buy the tickets.
Right, yeah.
And we can go everywhere, every month.
Yeah, I mean, freediving is not a sport like football where your sponsors are going to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, right? So, yeah,
it's a mini work to find a sponsorship, and for me now, I understand many things, and I can live with freediving, but it's very not easy. 10 years old to 10 years, I trained and I work for that. To discover also the good philosophy with a good company to develop the communication.
Yeah, so it seems like you have a very strong love for the ocean too. I was watching the video from the mini series, the Freediving Universe, and there's an amazing video where you go out and you find a group of dolphins and you're diving with the dolphins, and it seemed very important and very special for you to make a connection with the animals, and it seemed like a very meaningful experience to dive with them. So I wonder what your thoughts are about the conditions, the situation with the health of the oceans in the world at the moment. Because, we have some serious problems with overfishing, plastic pollution, other kinds of environmental pollution, ocean dead zones, and things like this. What are your thoughts on this? And what do you think we can do to improve the situation?
For me, it's very important for now to sensibilize the people with that, and the connection with the animals is very important because we are on the materialist system now, and we need to connect at the natural system.
Right.
And the dolphin and everything, the contact is very impressive. It's very important to connect you and your body at the nature. And that is the first part. And after you have the second part is, okay, where you are and what you do. And if you have a soul, you have a body, you have life, and you don't give you don't put a good question. What I do here, and if you give this good question, you can understand your environment, and you responsibility, and you have a responsibility to concentrate and what you can do for develop that. And the water, I think it's a good transition, because the water have the memory. The memory of water is you can understand your capacity to develop your understanding, because your body is the water. You dive in the water, and the water have the memories, and the memories of water is your connection with the nature, because all nature, all life is a water. And if you focus this question by the meditation, by everything, you can responsibilize what you can do. And we can develop that in the school, I think, by the meditation, by everything. But I think it's not totally fighting with a system or fighting with a plastic bag. And I think it's a general. You need to change that. And you can change that 1 point by 1 point. You need to change that. It's just a philosophy. And after, we can do everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to take all the plastic out the oceans now, but at least we can, hopefully we can change the minds of the people so that they won't throw the plastic in the first place.
Yeah, because the plastic after is at you. You put that in the water. It's the same when you put the plastic on your body. And it's the same, it's totally same. And if the body understands and somebody understands that, you change the philosophy.
So it seems like freediving is like a spiritual journey for you. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Now, yes, I can say yes. Before, no, because I can't understand. And now, for me, the freediving is just tools to understand what I am. And I think it's a tool for many freediver, but he don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so too. For me, it's 100% about a spiritual journey inside myself.
Me too.
And I just haven't found anything else that lets me look at myself so closely. So yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, this is also why freediving is actually could be very important for improving the situation in the oceans and for educating people about how they should act with the natural world. Because you can make such a strong connection to that when you freedive.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people are, you know, doing the usual thing like sitting at home, watching television or just playing games on their smartphone, there's no connection, you know.
Yeah.
And then they see some cool video on YouTube. Some guy is diving very deep with a monofin, or he's diving with these dolphins, and it looks amazing. And then they're inspired to take a freediving course. And then they find that through the freediving, they can make this beginnings of a spiritual connection, or some kind of, if we don't use the word spiritual, then we can use some deeper psychological understanding or something like this. But yeah, I think there's enormous potential to change the way people act by teaching them freediving.
Yes, of course, because in the same sport you have connection with the water, with the nature, with you, with yourself, and you control also your mindset, and you need to practice also the meditation and you connect at everything. And I think we have fantastic sport.
Yeah.
And now we need to give a good picture and good movie at the world. Not only die people or blackout or
Yeah.
I think that is just superficial, and now we need to connect at the other things because yes, of course, TV and phone and everything is not good for our own development.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to do with the podcast, is really make a space where people can talk and people can learn, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's still, I think most people in the world who are interested in freediving, most of them actually are not able to go freediving very often, or they're very far away from other freedivers, or it's difficult for them to find partners. So, the more that we can share this information with the freediving community, then I think we can see some really nice things happening through that.
Yeah, is a good point to develop.
I'm really interested to find out if you have some kind of morning ritual, like something that you do every day when you wake up that helps you prepare for your day, or just helps you put yourself in a good place in your mind. Do you have something like that?
Me, I have paper, and I write the text, and I read my text, my philosophy, and to develop my objective. And for me, for my sport, and for my personal objective, yeah.
So this is something that you do every morning?
Normally, yes.
Yeah.
Not every morning, but in my house, yes.
And do you have some kind of I know that you do meditation, but do you meditate in the morning, or do you do some other kind of spiritual practice, like some kind of yoga or qigong or something like that?
Yeah, I practice the meditation and energetic, but normally I need to do every day, but I not do every day.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I can do, I do meditation and I do my bioenergy, yes.
So what kind of meditation do you do? Is it like excuse me, is it like a mindfulness meditation? Is it from Buddhism or yoga or something like that, or is it something original?
Buddhism, yeah, Buddhic meditation, yeah. Just static, and I choose a subject before my meditation, and I begin.
Mm-hmm. And what subject do you like to use?
Depends of my mind and my body. Sometimes I need to develop the mindset. Sometimes I want to develop the philosophy, or sometimes I want to just recover my body because I'm tired. And I can choose many things.
Let me ask you if you can recommend a book that is a favorite book for you, or something that you would like to recommend to the listeners.
I don't know in English. Les trois accords Toltec. Les trois accords Toltec.
Just tell me a little bit about the story. I'm sure that the French speakers can enjoy it.
It's very good to understand what you are and what is a relationship you have with the body and everywhere, and with everybody and everything. Sorry?
Who is the author, the person who wrote the book?
Everybody you can read. Our origin is very old, and I don't know. I forget the name.
What are your plans for the future? Do you have some long-term plans? Do you have a dream that you want to fulfill?
My dream is to develop more my present moment and my meditation, I think. Yes, that is the next objective. It's the most important objective. because everything is okay, and professional and progress in sports and everything. I don't have an objective to win or to have a medal or to have a result, because that is just material. And I think it's more important to progress. And my progression is more important, because it's not a progression of the other people. It's philosophy and meditation. That is, I think, is my objective.
Yeah, I think that's a really good dream to have. So, Stéphane, if someone wants to find you on social media, can they find you on the internet? Do you have a website, Facebook pages, things like that?
Yeah.
So what is your website?
Is Stéphane Tourreau.com.
Mm-hmm. And a Facebook page as well? Do you have Facebook, Instagram, all those things?
And Stéphane Tourreau page, athlete page, yeah. I think it's easy to just tap Stéphane Tourreau.
Stéphane, thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you, and especially I think that your thoughts about your personal philosophy and the importance of meditation and introspection and everything that you talked about in that regard is very interesting. And I look forward to seeing you more and hearing more about your philosophy. And yeah, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you too. Thank you.
So that was Stéphane Tourreau. Thanks to Stéphane for a great conversation, and be sure to look him up online and on social media to follow his progress at the World Championships in Honduras and beyond. Remember to subscribe to the show through your favorite podcast provider so you don't miss an episode, and share the Freedive Café with your friends. Until next time, dive safe.